all you action figure enthusiasts out there, JC here with another TNINews video. Now I've got a lot of news to cover today, which may be hard to believe since I just did a news video at the end of last week, but already since then there's been quite a bit of news that has broken. But before I get into all that, I just want to shoot you guys a reminder that we still have those contests going on both Toy News International and MarvelousNews.com, where we're giving away $100 store credits to Big Bad Toy Store. It's 2 different contests, so you can enter both contests. If you happen to get really lucky and win both, you'd win up to $200 worth of store credit. I will have links to the descriptions of both contests in the video description below. Please do check that out. Also, as I've mentioned in the last few videos, if you happen to have a Twitter account, if you use Twitter in any way, please give a follow to the official Toy News International Twitter account. We had to relaunch it this year, so it doesn't have a whole lot of followers, but it is a good way to keep up with all the latest news headlines, and I will have a link to that in the video description as well. Okay, so let's get into the news, and let's just start off with the most recent news that just came out this morning, and that is a second reveal from Hasbro for their San Diego Comic-Con exclusives for the Marvel Legend line. Last week, I talked about the Hulk figure that's going to come on that Toy Biz Vintage card back, and now we're getting a 2-pack featuring 2 figures from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and the 2 figures will be Grandmaster and the Collector. Now, you may be thinking, well, weren't we already getting a Grandmaster figure? And the answer is yes. This new figure in this set appears to be pretty much the same figure as the one that's going to be coming in the 2-pack with Korg. But you do get an extra accessory with it, and then you get the Collector figure as well. So again, this is a 2-pack. I've got to be honest, I was more excited when I thought the set was going to include actual accessories like the prison chair that Thor got stuck in the Thor Ragnarok movie, or the cage with the Cosmo dog, the space dog. You can see those in the packaging. Those do appear just to be part of the packaging. I don't know if those are just simply paintings or artwork on the packaging, or if they're like cardboard cutouts, kind of like we saw with the Subway set that they did last year for the Netflix figures. But they're not actual physical accessories, especially with the Cosmo, the space dog. I think that would have been really cool if they had included that. Now, the Collector figure, at this point, this is the only way you can get the Collector figure. I don't know if they'll re-release it down the road. A lot of times they do. However, like last year, they did the Netflix set, and a lot of people, including myself, thought they were going to release the Iron Fist figure in some way, a 2-pack or something at Walmart, and they never did. I don't know if that's something that was going to happen, and then because the shows got canceled, they didn't move forward with it, or what. But it's not always a guarantee that these figures will get released at regular retail. So, it's kind of a hit or miss. To me, it's like, do you need 2 Grandmaster figures? Is it worth, getting the Collector to have Grandmaster and maybe pass on the MCU set with the Korg figure? If I had to choose between Korg and the Collector, I'd probably go with Korg. I think he's cooler looking, and I think he's had more screen time, at least up until this point, than the Collector has. So, I don't know. It's up to you. The set's going to cost $50 now. I believe, I think, I won't swear to this, but I believe the set will be made available with a limited number on the Hasbro Pulse website sometime after the convention. And then also this set, along with most of Hasbro's other exclusives, will be made available at other conventions, including the Canadian Fan Expo. This particular set will be sold at the EB Games booth at that convention, and then probably we'll see it at places like the Mezco Unboxing Convention. I don't have a specific list of conventions these will be sold at, but they are saying essentially these will be sold at other conventions in and outside of the United States. And so again, this set is going to cost $50. And, to me, really, it comes down to how badly do you want that Collector figure. The Collector figure comes with the second head sculpt with the sunglasses and that sphere that we saw in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie that had the Infinity Gem inside of it. And then again, the Grandmaster comes with his staff, which is the same staff that comes in the MCU 2-pack with the Korg. And then you get the puddle of goo. Use that staff in the Ragnarok movie to disintegrate people, one of his prisoners. And so they've given you that little effect piece that looks like the puddle of goo so you can recreate that scene. Again, to me, kind of a really big miss that they didn't actually give us the prisoner chair as seen on the packaging, or the Cosmo Space Dog in the cage. I think that would have really made these sets much more appealing to people. But, you know, there you go. In other Marvel Legend news, for those of you wanting to get the Brotherhoods of Evil Mutant 3-pack from Amazon, the one with Magneto, Quicksilver, and Scarlet Witch, that set has started to ship from Amazon. I posted my review of the 3-pack yesterday. If you haven't checked that out, please do. But that is shipping. It's shipping a little bit early. Originally, it was listed with like a July 1st release date, but it is shipping out now. And last time I checked, at least, it was still available online. So you can or should be able to pick it up. And if you have Amazon Prime, then of course you can get the free fast shipping, which is really nice. Mezco Toys today released a preview image for their next 112 Collective Summer exclusive, and it's a Crescent Edition version of their Moon Knight figure. So this one actually looks a lot better to me. It's got a lot more black in it as opposed to the regular edition that is mostly all white, a little too white in my opinion. So this one is actually the cooler one. It's got the soft goods cape, got, you know, same kind of accessories and everything it looks like. So that one is going to be going up for pre-order tomorrow on June 26th at 1 p.m. Eastern time on the Mezco website. So if you want to try and get it right away, I would try and be there as close to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because this probably won't last long on there, at least until it switches over to the waitlist option. And we'll have more official images and everything up on Marvelous News at that time tomorrow as well. Now switching gears to Tomasi Nations and the SH Figuarts line, we got a reveal based on a magazine scan that hit social media last week of a new Spider-Man Far From Home figure for the SH Figuarts line. It is Spider-Man in the stealth suit, so you get the multiple head sculpts with the different eyes, you get the eyes with the visor lift up so you can see his face, you get webbing effects, you get multiple hands and everything. So if you like that black stealth suit and maybe the Marvel Legend version didn't quite do it for you, this one is going to be coming from Tomasi Nations. It's going to be released in January 2020. It should be going up for pre-order later this week, and we'll be getting more official images for it then. And then if Marvel Legends and SH Figuarts wasn't enough stealth suit Spider-Man for you, Hot Toys will also be doing a 12-inch version. And this figure will again have multiple hands, webbing effect pieces. He'll have the different eye pieces. He'll have the goggles that flip up and everything on the mask. And what's really kind of cool about this is you actually get a diorama display base featuring Molten Man. So that actually looks pretty cool based on these images. Now that figure is up for pre-order, I believe, at places like Big Bad Toy Store. If it's not, it soon will be. And again, that's for Hot Toys in their 12-inch line. Okay, and that's it on the Marvel front for today, but let's move over to NECA Toys. So this weekend, they held an event in a place called Yestercades, which is a classic arcade type venue in New Jersey, and there they showed off some new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle product. So specifically, they showed off their upcoming Slash, Leatherhead, and an arcade version of Shredder. Now, the Slash and Leatherhead will be released as a 2-pack in either January or February of next year. And that actually will be coming out before the Rocksteady and Bebop figures that we saw at Toy Fair. At least that's what, according to Tone Toys, who was at the event and sent us this information, was told. And also these will be Target exclusives, both this Leatherhead and Slash 2-pack, and then of course the Rocksteady and Bebop 2-pack will both be Target exclusives. And then I don't have any indication of where or how the Shredder figure is going to appear, so I don't know about that one. We were also told that next year will be a very good year for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fans, as they will start doing figures based on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze. So stay tuned for details on that. We might get to see something about that at San Diego Comic-Con this year. And then also they showed off their San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. They had, I didn't unfortunately have time to talk about this, but they ended up doing an extra sale. I think it was on Friday for their exclusives. So at this point, it's moot because it's over and done with, but they did, for those who missed out on the initial online sales for those figures, they did an additional one. I think it was on Friday. We got official images this weekend for the Mafex Batman DC comic figure based on the Jim Lee Hush storyline. I talked about this in the previous video, but now we've got the official images and details. So the figure is going to be released in April 2020, and it's going to stand about 6.2 inches tall. Again, it is based on the comic book version of Batman from the Jim Lee Hush storyline. You're going to get multiple heads, including an unmasked Bruce Wayne head. You're going to get 2 different masked heads with this one, and then you're going to get 2 batarangs and 2 versions of the grapple gun. One just the grapple gun itself, and then another where it looks like it's shooting the grapple out. So that's pretty good. And of course, you're going to get multiple pairs of hands and such. So, I think this figure looks pretty good. Mafex, I think, has been getting better and better. They've been doing comic book based Marvel figures, and now it looks like they're moving into DC. If they continue along the Hush storyline, there's a ton of villains they could do. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of these types of figures from them. And then for you sports fans, we're also getting a Mafex Michael Jordan figure from the Chicago Bulls, number 23. So, this one looks pretty good. The most interesting thing to me that struck out to me on this figure is it looks like his entire uniform is made with soft goods. It's not plastic, I think, at least based on these images. Now, with the Batman figure and like with a lot of the superhero figures, the cape is soft goods. But again, this is the first time where I think they've done an entire figure with a soft goods outfit. Again, I think based on these images, it looks like that's actual a cloth material, not plastic. I won't swear to it, but that's what it looks like. Now the figure is going to be over 6 inches tall. You're going to get a basketball that you can put in his hands. You're going to get multiple pairs of hands, and you're going to get 2 different head sculpts, where he's sticking out his tongue like he always did when he was dunking the basketball and stuff. That's kind of his signature look. So definitely kind of a cool figure if you're a sports fan or just a Michael Jordan fan. And that figure is also going to be released in April 2020. Okay, and then the final bit of news I have for you guys comes on the Toys R Us front. So we continue to see signs that Toys R Us will be making a return here in the United States. You may recall they went out of business here in the US last year. They do continue to operate in places like Canada. But here in the US, they closed up all their stores. But since then, we've been hearing indications that they've been trying to make some kind of comeback. And this latest information comes via Bloomberg, and they state that they will be opening new stores by the end of this year in time for the holiday season. Not like pop-up stores like we kind of saw last year, but actual new physical stores. They are actually going to be opening under the name Toys R Us Kids. So the name will be changing a bit, but essentially the same brand and everything. And then the stores themselves are actually going to be smaller. According to Bloomberg, the new stores are going to be about the third the size of the original stores. So, definitely look for smaller space. As for what product they'll be carrying, that still seems to be a little bit up in the air. The company MGA Entertainment has signed on because their CEO really feels like there's a desperate need for Toys R Us in the toy industry. But it's unclear whether companies like Hasbro and Mattel, who lost a lot of money when Toys R Us went under the first time, whether they're going to be on board and be willing to provide product. In the Bloomberg article, it talks about how Toys R Us might minimize its costs by taking inventory on a consignment basis, which basically means they don't pay the manufacturer until they've actually sold the product. So again, we'll have to see if Toys R Us or if companies like Hasbro and Mattel and such would actually be willing to come on board for something like that. I know they would value the additional shelf space out there, but being they've already lost money and they wouldn't get paid unless the toys were actually sold, I don't know. I kind of have my doubts, but we'll wait and see. I don't know exactly how many or where the new stores will be opening up. I would imagine they'll probably be in locations where the older stores were performing well, but of course I don't have any specific data to tell you where that would be. If my store was any indication, I probably won't be getting one of these stores near me, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But as it is, like I said, it does look like Toys R Us is going to be making some kind of return by the end of the year, and we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. Okay, so that's it for today. I'd love to hear your thoughts on everything I talked about. Again, also please check out those contests that we have going on Toy News International and Marvelous News for the $100 store credits to Big Bad Toy Store. And as always, subscribe to the channel, like the video. If you haven't already, hit the bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. And as I mentioned at the beginning, you can follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts. I have links to all of those in the video description as well. And until next time, guys, I'll catch you later.